My first business ever started at 8 years old. I was going to an aftercare after school where there was like a play area and there would be kids, playing soccer, playing tag, playing hide and seek, and swimming, and there was a tuck shop. And these two older ladies, these aunties who ran the tuck shop, would sell like sweets and baked goods and things to the children, who would then spend their pocket money or their lunch money on getting snacks. And I remember going to with my dad one day to Macro, which is kind of like a Walmart. It's like a bulk store. And we were walking down the aisles and he was looking for like wood, because my dad loves carpentry. So he was looking for like wood and supplies and stuff. And I remember stumbling across a new flavor of fizzes, which is like a long like candy, like a sweet. And I remember seeing these flavors and being like, whoa, like I've never seen these flavors before. Like, are they from America, or like where did these come from? And I realized that the tuck shop at school wasn't selling these flavors. I also realized that the fizzes here at Macro were a lot cheaper than they were at the tuck shop. So I spoke to my dad and I said, hey, like, could you help me buy these fizzes? And he was like, oh, like, what's it for? And I said, no, I just got like an idea, right? So we bought a couple packs of fizzes. It was probably around 100 units of fizzes. And I went to school and I was very nervous. I remember being very nervous because I was like, damn, like if I sell this, like what if people reject me? And I would walk around to these kids and offer them. I remember I was selling like one fizzer for 2 Rand or 3 fizzes for 5 Rand. So I even had like a bit of an offer. And I think it took me about 10 days to sell 100 fizzes. And I ended up walking away with like 60-70% profit margin. But I realized that fizzes were too cheap. It was gonna take a while for me to make money. So I looked at drinks. I thought, Coke is kind of a commodity. Sprite is a commodity. A lot of these drinks are commodities. What's something that's a bit different? And we've got this like flavored milk here in South Africa called Steri Stumpy. And there's like a chocolate one, a strawberry one, cream soda, toffee, coffee, right? And I remember doing the same thing. Going to Macro, finding Steri Stumpies, flavors that weren't being offered at the aftercare, and then bringing them to aftercare. And if the aftercare tuck shop was selling a Steri Stumpy for like 12 Rand, I knew I could sell it for 10 Rand and make more money per product sold than the fizzes. And before you know it, I was making like 50 Rand a day, which isn't too bad. It was like 50 Rand a day profits. And I was doing this for probably around 1 or 2 months before the tuck shop put me out of business. They saw what I was doing. They started bringing in the new flavors. And because they were already a business, they could buy the products in bulk and get it cheaper than me and then undercut me. And the margins became so thin that I realized like this was no longer worth my time. And it was pretty demotivating, it was pretty flattening. And that was the first thing that I learned in the world of business at 8 years old. I learned that you need to have a competitive moat. You need to have a competitive edge. You need to have something that separates you from competitors that's not just your price, okay? And if we fast forward to around 16, this is when I started reading a lot of books on finance. I got very close with a friend in my business class. We started talking a lot about investing and finance. And I remember coming across Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, one of the greatest like personal finance, investment, business books that you can read as a beginner. And I learned in this book that you can make a lot of money in a career if you educate yourself and you become the asset and you sell your time for money. But the wealthy people, what they do is they don't turn themselves into the asset. They purchase or they take debt to get assets that then produce income for them outside of selling their time. Okay? And at 16 years old, I started to think, okay, what's like a high value skill set that I enjoy, where I can make some money and I can start investing. And for me, that was photography, because I really enjoyed making YouTube videos with my friends. I really enjoyed taking photos of my friends, and I remember my first photo shoot with these two beautiful girls. They both had boyfriends though. They both had boyfriends. But these two beautiful girls were like, oh Ben, we're starting a YouTube channel. Could you help us edit? Could you help us take photos? Could you help us like promote and stuff? And I remember doing that and making like a couple $100 in an hour. And I was like, whoa, that's freaking awesome. And then I went on to shoot like birthdays and parties and, you know, like matric farewells and like dances and stuff. And I made like some good money, right? And I started focusing on high school for a bit, and eventually, while in college, my brother started his first job. And he studied many years to get this job. And the starting rate was about 16,000 Rand a month, which is less than $1,000 a month. And he studied like 3 years for this, right? To be a commercial editor, editing for like commercial gigs. And I remember him coming home and being upset and being like, Ben, I know you're studying right now. I worked my ass off for 3 years and this is kind of what my day looks like. This can't be it, right? And I've got a colleague who spoke to me about Amazon FBA, which is when you sell products on the internet, on Amazon from China, and you make ridiculous profits. That's how we thought it would go. So I remember we watched this like full 6-hour course by a guy named Dan Vass, who's a Canadian dude. And he's freaking awesome. I love Dan Vass, he's cool. He taught us a lot, okay? But we went into a pretty silly industry. We started with vacuums. So like electronics, car vacuums. And I remember taking like all of my college savings. Like I was waitering while studying, and I was waitering 3 or 4 shifts a week and saving as much as I could. And I invested so much cash into the business. My brother invested so much cash into the business. I think between the two of us, we put in a little bit like over $8,000, okay, which is like 150,000 Rand at the time, which was a lot of money for us. And long story short, we ended up doing about $1,500–2,000 in sales. So we were in the red. We made some sales. We made our first $1,000 online, so that was cool. We learned that it was possible, and that was an awesome feeling. But it wasn't anywhere near what we thought. Now I know what you're thinking. You might be thinking, Ben, yeah, Amazon FBA doesn't work. And what I've been realizing is that it's not actually about the business model, it's about the entrepreneur. It's about who does it. Because you get some entrepreneurs that are so highly skilled that they can make any business model work. So it's not about the business model, it's actually about you. And that's why most business owners fail many times before they find the thing. And it's not because they find the thing, but it's because they become the person by the 8th attempt who can actually pull it off. And that's what happened for me. So I failed so many times. I failed my business at 8 years old. I failed my photography business at 16, 17 years old. I failed my Amazon FBA business at 18 years old. I then wanted to do a low capital business. So I tried dropshipping. I tried dropshipping blue light glasses for like gamers. I tried dropshipping pet products because we had a lot of dogs and I could shoot videos with my dogs. That failed. Both of them, I spent hundreds of dollars on ads, failed. Then I tried affiliate marketing, where I was selling like a trading product and I was like editing and posting videos every single day for like a year or 6 months, 8 months. And I made some money and I got like 5,000 followers or something organically. I had some reels hit like 1 million views, which is pretty awesome. And in that time, I actually learned how to create content, how to create hooks, how to script videos, and how to create ads. So that process taught me a lot, right? And at this time, we got approached by a distant family friend who was launching products in the US as well. And we went on to also help them with their launch and to share some of the mistakes that we made with our launch on Amazon. And this time we were doing skincare. Now we spent 6 months, 7 months, 8 months just grinding to build the store, build the ads, build the content, get the influencers to shoot UGC videos, run ads, do a giveaway. And unfortunately, one of the business partners behind our back installed a software on the Amazon accounts. And that software, what it did was it pushed the Shopify catalog of products to the Amazon catalog of products. But because the Shopify settings weren't set to the US, but rather set to South Africa, what happened was it was pushing forward a pricing error. So all of our skincare products that we spent 8 months building up to, and then running ads and influencers and giveaways and blasting an email list, all of those products, their prices dropped from like $30, $40, $50, all the way down to like $2. And people started buying and buying and buying and buying. And we had to refund like 20 customers. I think we had to refund 20 or 30 customers. And this destroyed our ranking. Like, we lost so much momentum. And I remember there was, this happened while we were on Easter holiday. So I was with my family and my girlfriend didn't join because she was working, waitressing like her butt off. And I was on this family holiday, but I couldn't even be on holiday because I was so stressed about this freaking launch, and it went completely wrong. I spent my whole Easter holiday, like 10 days straight, literally on the phone with Amazon support for like 3 to 5 hours every single day. So I probably spent like 50 hours trying to solve this issue on the phone with Amazon support and Indians, just back to back to back Indians. And that process was a nightmare because it felt like it destroyed my reputation. It harmed my confidence, and it made me feel like we failed. But only like a month later did I find out what it was. I found the app on the back end of the Shopify. I found out who connected it. And I didn't fully like bring up how big of a stuff up this was because I didn't want to look like a dick. I didn't want to, because we spent 8 months of our time, but they spent the capital, the partners. I didn't want to look like a dick. But that person wasted 8 months of my life. And fortunately, I learned about TikTok ads, email lists, giveaways, building stores and landing pages and creative assets and product photos and copy and SEO. I learned so many valuable lessons, but my goodness, did it burn. So I failed so many businesses. And keep in mind, while doing all these businesses, I was waitering. So I wasn't even doing these things full time. Like, I was working so much. I was waitering at Postacino's, Italian restaurant in Sea Point in Cape Town. Beautiful spot. If you are international and you come to Cape Town, please visit Postacino's. It's been around since like it's been around for 26, 27 years, almost 30 years. Owners are freaking awesome. And I worked there from the age of a little bit under 18. I was like 17 and 9 months, all the way until I was around 20 and 9 months. So I worked there for around like 3 years. And my brother also worked there, and that's how he got me into the restaurant. And I was waitering my butt off. On a bad month, I would make like $500. On a good month, I would make around $800. So my income was like $500 to $800 a month, and I was working like 4 nights a week, and I was busy just taking swings at business from my parents' house because I dropped out. I'd spent all my cash on starting that Amazon FBA business originally. So it was just like failure after failure after failure. And like during all of this time, I was also with my girlfriend, and she saw all of it, and I had to just keep my head strong. I mean, there were some times where I was working more hours in a week than my girlfriend. Okay, between the restaurant and the business, I was working more hours per week, and she was making more money than me. But what I knew was that I was building roots. I was building roots underneath the tree so that the branch could grow tall and have a strong foundation. I was building skills that were valuable. I was building a character that became unbendable, unbreakable. And now, you know, if I think about how far I've come, I'm now 22 years old, and it's so beautiful. I spent this morning on the mountain and brewing up some coffee. I went to the gym, and today I made around $2,000 in a day. And it feels surreal. It feels surreal knowing that a year and a half ago, I was making between $500 to $800 a month, and now we're doing $2,000 a day. It feels surreal, but at the same time, I had to stay up late speaking to Chinese suppliers on Alibaba while burning through my college money. I had to spend 8 months creating edits and content every single day to promote an affiliate offer to get to 5,000 followers. I had to waste hundreds of dollars testing pet products and blue light blockers. I had to spend another 8 months trying to launch with a full team in the US. And I spent all this time and all this money and all this effort and all these late nights. And it feels like it's starting to pay off, and I'm starting to see the other side. And it's addictive, it's beautiful. And I just want you to know that you're not gonna win on the first try, you're not gonna win on the second try, you're not gonna win on the third try, the fourth try, the fifth try. It took me years. I started, you know, my first business at 8 years old. But my first like real business, I started at 18 and I'm 22 now. It took like 4 years of working 60, 80 hours a week and making almost no money. And just learning and learning and learning and burning and wasting time and feeling like I'm not good enough. And I want to leave you with the fact that it's possible. That it's possible to make money online. It's possible to go full-time on your business. It's possible to make 6 figures in your 20s. It's possible to learn skills. It's possible to change your life. And it all starts with education. And what follows a good education is action, daily action, and being consistent and actually sticking with it. Because that's where most people fall off, is they give it a good year and then they fail. Some people can't even stick with something for a month, for 30 days. Some people can't even do 3 months or 6 months. Stick with it. Stick with it, please, because you're doing a disservice to yourself if you give it your all for 30 days and you fail and then you just give up. Or you give it your all for 6 months and you fail and you just give up. And it's not about the business model. It's not about the opportunity. It's about you. And the more you put into you, the greater a life you will live, and the more opportunities will be around you, the more opportunities you'll be given. And now I'm busy documenting my journey to $30, $50, $100,000 months. And it feels crazy to say that as a kid who's born and raised in a third world country who is self-made. And for sure, I don't think we're all entirely self-made. I had a really great dad, and I've got a really great family and an awesome brother and an amazing loyal girlfriend. But at the end of the day, those people are not with me when I'm sitting here at 8 o'clock at night busy making ads, or when I'm here at 9 o'clock in the morning filming content, or when I'm at the gym busy answering emails, busy sending documents, busy building automations, busy doing edits, busy writing out my to-do list. Like the only person who's gonna see it is you. And you need to have confidence. You need to know that you are actually giving it your all. That's the only way to get true self-respect. But thank you so much for watching this video. I'm wishing you a absolute great 2026. And I want to just document this because I feel like I'm starting to actually see momentum in my business. And I know I'm gonna look back on this. And I wanted to just share the story to tell you guys that if you're seeing other 20-year-olds making six figures, like, they don't do it on the first try. They try and 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 they try. So go build. Bye. See you soon.